Okay, Masters. So today's topic for our discussion is water. We will demystify it. Some of the information you will find it useful for your sadhana, for your spiritual journey, and we will understand why water is so important to us. We'll take questions and then we'll get into meditation at the end. So, why we say water is so mystic, water is so important for us? Because this is the only substance where all three states can be readily observed in everyday life. You can see it in a liquid form, solid form, or gas. So you can see it in form of steam in a gas form, water as liquid, and then ice, which is solid form. So that is one of the uniqueness water has. And depending on your age, your average body content as a percentage, if we see, it's about 75% water. So though we feel our body is so strong, we feel we have muscle, we have bone, it's appears solid, but actually 75% is water. So when you are young, when you are like infant, just born, the water percentage is much higher. And then slowly it comes little down. So the average is 75. So if you see the range 70 to 90%, still you can see that more than 2/3 we are water. Now, you see if such a high percentage, is it just our body? No, even if we look at Earth, you have 71% water. So more than 70% water on our planet, Mother Earth, more than 70% water in our body. Now, one thing we all must have either seen directly or through some media, movies, or whatever, the waves. We must have seen some tide, low tide, high tide during full moon, new moon, all those kind of events that we go through time to time. So if the moon energy has an impact on sea, or you can say in general on Earth, because of such a high content of water, certainly it will have impact on our body too, because it's 70% plus water. That is why we have so much impact when it comes to new moon or full moon. We say there is extra energy, and that is one of the logical reason. Now, as we breathe, we lose water. Every breath, in a very moist kind of form, we lose water. Now, when we are losing water, you have to replenish, you have to drink water. That's why we say average, drink 2 liters of water for an average adult. Minimum should be 2 liters, depending whether you are in a cold country, hot. Of course, this may go a little up or down, because in summer months you drink more, winter month you drink little less. But you can imagine you are losing without doing anything as well, because of the breathing that you do in any case. If you lose 350 milliliter of water, that is just through breathing. And if the water percentage drop, say by 12%, it could be really fatal. That means it's not that, oh, we have 75% water, even if 10, 15% drops, how does it matter? It's still 60% water. No, our body cannot function. Now, if we see that 70% roughly is water on Earth, that means there is so much water around, but actually not. Water is there, but not drinking water. Because 97% is seawater, which we cannot drink directly because it's of high salt content. So you see only 3% of water is drinkable for us, for humans. Out of that 3%, most of it is in glacier, on top of mountains, as ice, snow, different forms. So truly only 1.2% water is available for all of us humans and most of the animals out of whatever is available on Earth. Only 1.2%. So you can imagine we should be wise in the water consumption. We should be careful and not waste water. So we said, okay, average 2 liters a person should drink. So that means 365 days a year. Roughly, you can say 1,000 liters per year, an average adult should drink water. Now, one of the factor you must have seen that we say, be vegetarian. It is good for us. One of the factor is water. So you see, an average person drink only 1,000 liters, but to raise an animal, whether it is, you're talking about sheep, goat, cow, chicken, only for 1 kilo of meat, see how much water is consumed. For a cow, it's more than 15,000 liters per kilo for the life of the animal, from young till the time and the animal is there. So you see chicken. So one person, even if we take one chicken, one person can drink that water for 4 years because there's 4,300 liters. And you can only imagine how many millions and millions and millions of these animals are. It's an industry. Meat industry is an industry. But how much water is consumed? That means how much energy or chemicals are used to purify water, to retreat, and all those issues associated with it. That's why the animal or the meat industry generates more carbon, more pollution than all the kind of automobiles, including ship, aeroplanes, everything included on this earth. And we think only automobiles, car, they are generating pollution, carbon, but actually meat industry is much, much worse. So there are many reasons why to be vegetarian. This is one of them. Now, as we were talking about how much, so there are different research, different articles, and you can see under different conditions, whether summer, winter, and of course your age, your level of activities, of course they will all have impact. So that's where the average number comes. And as we are breathing, moisture is lost, and if we lose too much, it can really create problem for us in terms of our health. Now, let's look more into it, that why water is so important. Because water has memory. Water is basically life. Now, what does it mean? How can water have memory? Like we carry the USB stick, portable drives, hard drive, and nowadays cloud. We don't take even a hard drive or anything. We just save it on the cloud system. Water has memory, and we'll be wondering how come. Water drops contains so much memory that our modern storage system cannot compete. We think it's silica because all the USBs, hard drive, and all, they're basically using silica. And we think that has this property, but water has many, many, many times more memory storage capability. So one of the feature what it has is that within the molecular structure of water, because water is what? It's H2O, and means two atoms of hydrogen, one atom of oxygen. Between this molecule, there are energetic bonds. So hydrogen atom is attached to the oxygen atom through a bond. Bond is all chemical, which is energy. Means once the molecules are adding, going away, it's all energy. So when we see as a molecule, you have lots of atoms. You have hydrogen and you have oxygen. And then within the water itself as a liquid, you have lots of molecules of water in it. That's how it's becoming this liquid form or any form. So what happens is it retains the information for a very long time. Why? Because water is a recorder of frequency. So wherever it is going through, it is capturing that frequency. And we know frequency is associated with wavelength, associated with energy. You can define it anywhere. And we also know through quantum physics, if you recall those sessions, that every thought has a frequency, a specific frequency, and water records frequency. That's how it captures all that information, all that energy around it from where the water is flowing. And we just saw that how food, people, we are mostly water. So you see, when we talk of vitality, it depends how the water is flowing. Is it natural? Like, is it going in a smooth curve, or is it going in a kind of 90 degrees or, sharp turns kind of thing? In nature, you will not find water making a 90-degree turn. Never. Anywhere you go, you see a waterfall, you see a small river, stream, big river, ocean, doesn't matter. Like once the river is merging with an ocean, everywhere it's a smooth curve. However, we will see it's only the man-made thing where we transport water, then this smoothness may be compromised. But the life in water is when it is flowing freely. Now, how we can change this life in the water is by prayer, by positive emotions. And we can keep the water fresh for a long time. Now we'll say, how can prayer have impact? Because prayer is energy, water stores energy, water is a recorder of frequency. That's how. So let's see a little bit more detail. If you see a water molecule, there are a lot of, these combination of H2O is there. So there is a specific angle between these two hydrogen atoms and the oxygen atom. And the range is 104 to 107 degrees. But when the water is melting at the glacier, which is the starting point for any river to form, to start, it's not 104, 5, 6, or 7, it is 108. And then it is reducing as it is flowing down. What is the importance of 108? When you have 108 degrees, the ratio of this hydrogen atom with respect to oxygen, it forms what we call a golden ratio. This 0.618, it's a very important ratio. So as the water is melting, it is deleting all its memory. Like sometimes you take your laptop and you say what something is wrong. I'm just going it back to the factory setting. We say sometimes that means I'm just resetting, I'm erasing my memory, and I'm making it as fresh as if it's new. Water does the same. It erases. It starts a new journey. So memory is deleted. However, it has still the program of life. That's how it provides us life. And what's happening as the water flows, different things, states change, and whatever happens. So out of this big molecule, you can imagine some water molecules are leaving, some are coming. So as a group, you are there. Like, for example, suppose you are, going in a train. Even if you go from one place to another, which is way apart, like it may be a 24-hour journey, and in between train may stop at many places. Say there are 1,000 people in the train, but say 100 of them get down at one particular station and another 100 board the train. So you are back to 1,000, but not the original 1,000. 100 people transferred. Some new 100 people came, 100 the old one, and they went to whatever the station they had to. Next station, same thing happens. Some people get down, some people board the train. So people are changing. However, still you have the train full of, say, 1,000 people. Similarly, in this case of water, internally, the molecules are going away, new ones are joining, but As a group, the memory, the energy, the frequency is maintained. That's why water retains the information for a very long time. Now, we talked about this 0.618. What is it? What is the importance of it? It's called the Fibonacci sequence or Fibonacci constant. What is Fibonacci? That's just the name of the person who kind of discovered, but what is it? This is a creation representation of this, the whole pattern in nature that we find. Where do you find such pattern? Where do you find such sequence? You find in a different form. You find it in the universe. You find it when you look at hurricane, you find the same pattern. You see a seashell, some flowers, vegetables, you will see this pattern. And what is the importance? When you superimpose, right? Then if you take the human brain, you see when this pattern we superimpose on the human brain, the center of this pattern matches exactly where our pineal gland is, sixth chakra. Pineal gland is our connection to the universe. That's kind of an antenna which is taking all the downloads, all the messages from the universe. That is the importance of pineal gland. So the location of pineal gland is exactly as per Fibonacci constant or this golden ratio that we call it. So it's no coincidence that nature has designed us like this. And that is the importance. Now, when we say water, it's H2O. Chemically, it's same. Any water you pick, it will be H2O. But is every water the same? We say in India, the Ganga river, you take the water from it, it will be, um, it will stay good for years together. How come when you bring water from other rivers, you cannot maintain it for a long time, but the Ganga river you can? Is that the only place? There are many places, and again, a lot of it may have to do with pollution and other stuff, and some are because of civilization. But one such area is Roraima in Venezuela. It's really at the hilltop. Normal civilization impact is not there, and water is pure. So what happens when the water is pure? So the team of scientists went there and they tested it using the device BioWell. BioWell measures our human energy field. So on the screen, what you see here is on the left, you see the energy around the person is breaking up. Whereas on the right side, when you see, it's very uniform. So before the scientists took their reading and after going there, drinking that water, staying there for a couple of days, they took the reading again. The human energy, means their own energy, improved drastically. What was the difference? The water. Now, it's not coincidence because people living in that area, they have much higher lifespan. Again, water is so important. It is more than two-thirds in our body. And all the people, because they were traveling from outside, this scientific team, their energy field tremendously increased. So which again shows us scientifically that how water impacts us. Now, what happens when you're getting tap water in your house? We just open the tap, we drink, not a big deal. It is certainly H2O, but is there energy? Is there life in that water? So chemically is one thing. You can add certain fertilizer, you can add certain other chemical, and water can get polluted. It's easy. You can check chemically, test the water, and you will say this water is drinkable, this water is not drinkable. However, if the water is good, you can drink. Is this water spiritually alive or spiritually dead? How do you figure that out? How can we judge or decide or understand that element? See, the water is flowing. Water records the frequency. So wherever the water is flowing, because your city has a water treatment plant. From that treatment plant, it is sending water to the whole city. The bigger the city, the more it travels. And it is traveling underground. So it is going underneath. And wherever it is flowing from, it is capturing the frequency, the energy of that area. If there is hatred, if there is stress in the societies or people or the area or your community, any negativity, it captures. In our day-to-day life, we are already stressed. Nothing happened or is happening in our society, our city, our state, our country, but somewhere else something is happening and there is a lot of emotions going around. Same thing, negative energy, the water will capture it. Of course, different chemicals, different medicines, and etc. may be present in the water as the water is treated or get, induced with different things. But by the time it comes to your house, how is the spiritual angle of the water? How is the vitality? Is the water dead already by the time it's coming? That is the reason, masters, when we get water in our house, the modern, this water transportation systems, you have a lot of 90-degree bends. Because they are not designing the system for spiritual angle, or they are designing based on the space, based on what is easiest, most economical way of transporting the water. So because of this 90-degree turn, which is against the water's nature, that's not the water. Water's nature is what? Go around the smooth curves. But here, when it is pumped at high speed going through 90 degrees, imagine somebody is punching you left, right, left, right. By the time, you realize what happened, you got so many punches, you are totally drained of your energy. So similarly, by the time water comes to your house, it is drained of its vitality. And so never drink water directly from the tap. Store the water. Give it some time to let go that negativity and regain the positive energy. From where it gonna do this exchange? Where it gonna get positive energy? From your house. You cannot control your neighbors, your city and or community and everything, but you can control your house. The energy in your house is positive, which will impact the water. So when you store the water, you are allowing the time for the water to let go the negativity it has captured, the energy, the vibration it has captured from pumping station all the way to your house. And now when you drink, it has more positivity. Now, how do we know that it really is the case? So late Dr. Emoto, he did experiment. He spent his pretty much whole life working on this particular topic. In Japan, where he was from, he took a lot of samples. He took from France and other places. And he experimented that, okay, if I take from a particular spring, source of water, a lake, polluted lake, if I take the tap water, if I take distilled water, if I take just from, say, microwave, or if I take from a prayer location, it could be temple, gurdwara, masjid, doesn't matter, a prayer where people are going with positive energy. Or if I bless the water. So before blessing and after blessing, what is the impact? And what was the result that he was looking into? He was looking into the formation of crystals. So this is not the molecular structure we are talking about. This is not H2O molecular structure. This is under the microscope and all. When you test, you see like different ways, but yes, you can check the crystal formation. And when he was checking the crystal formation, you can see on the screen that how, say, on the bottom left, you have the distilled water. You don't see crystals, but when you see, on the middle bottom, you see the water of a dam before offering prayer, and the bottom right after, same water after praying. You see a beautiful crystal forming. So different places, doesn't matter if it is the largest lake where pollution is getting worse, which is the right in the middle row in the middle image. You see, it doesn't matter if it's Japan, largest lake, and you think it will be a good water, but spiritually, energetically, no crystal. Then the water was also tested So item number 1, you see, which is the microwave, no crystal. Item number 2, distilled water. We all think, hey, that is the purest form. Tap water, number 3. So when we say bottled water, distilled water, tap water, all those things, yes, they may not have chemicals, they may not have pollution that way, but is it really energetic water that will heal us or benefit us? May not be. And this is one of the results. But after prayer was offered, different tests were done. Different types of beautiful crystals we got. So it is not just one pattern you will see based on the energy around it, based on frequency the water is capturing. Depending on the person touching the water, depending on what's inside or where the water is, you will see different formations. So living water creates geometry. Living with life. And you will see different hexagonal shape. That water doesn't form the shape. Even Dr. Hans, a Swiss scientist, he experimented with different music, different sounds. And here we are talking about classical music, not like normal Bollywood or Hollywood songs or anything. We are talking about classical music. And he found different crystal formation with different sounds. Same thing what we were seeing before in the previous slide. But distilled water, no crystal. You can drink bottled water, okay, it's clean, but no crystal. Now, is it just 1 or 2%? No. Even the Aerospace Center in Stuttgart, Germany, they did an experiment. Let's have a look at this short video.
To what extent is water capable of picking up information? What does it perceive? And how does it remember it over time?
The Aerospace Institute in Stuttgart has discovered a relatively simple way of making the structure of a drop of water visible. The researchers have had their efforts rewarded by insights into a very beautiful world. Each drop has a face of its own, unmistakable and unique. Why are the individual drops so different from one another? We got a lot of people to come to a lecture hall here at the Institute, gave them all the same water, had them make drops at exactly the same time, collected all the drops, and then discovered that each individual produced different images from the same water. And here you can see the results. Here on the right, you can see that the images of the individual students are different, but those made by a given student are all quite similar. This is the work of the first experimenter, this one here from the second, this is from the third, and this from the fourth. Individually, they can quite easily be reproduced, but you would never have thought that they were all from the same water, because when you compare the images from the different people, you see some big differences. Then we undertook experiments to find out whether things changed when we put something into the water. A real flower was placed in the water. A while later, we took a drop of water, and here you can see one of the pictures. And you can see it in this picture. It's the typical image you get when you put a flower into water. You could recognize the flower in every single drop in this glass, of course. That can be reproduced and has significance. And if you were to put a different flower in here, for example, a Sweet William flower, then all the drops of this water would look like Sweet William. The statement that water has a memory practically changes our whole way of looking at the world, of course. Let's travel down the Rhine in the figurative sense. Water is flowing down the Rhine, picking up information everywhere it goes. So the water has more information at the mouth of the Rhine than it had at the source. And the Dutch, living at the mouth, when they drink that water, they're also drinking all that information. Thus, the world's oceans would no longer be something that separates us, but instead a giant storehouse of information, and the rain perhaps be a data medium carrying information to the world.
So you see how the water impacts. Same water, but different experimenters, 4 different people, they had 4 different crystal formation. They put different flowers, the crystal changed. So this is how water takes the energy, take the frequency, and then you see different results when we are seeing different people, different experimenters. Now, how should and where should we store water and all those things comes into mind. So we know silver has been used for centuries, antimicrobial effect. That's why silver was used, in dishware, drinking vessel, eating utensils, um, because of its property, of course. Because of the price now, it's not so much in use, but you may still find, time to time when you have. And another thing which was very common, very in household thing, which was a clay pot, matka we call it, and you will find that the water is so naturally cooled in a clay pot. Water gets treated in a way because, see, water should be neutral, around 7 pH. But depending on the source, pH may be different. And human body is acidic in nature, whereas clay is alkaline. So when you are drinking this water, it is kind of helping you balance the pH in your body. The clay has pores, so it naturally cools it. And in a way, it is balancing the water. So it really helps in maintaining your health. How? In recent time, yes, they have, you may get some clay pots which is made in factory or some, different kind of not a normal clay. So that's a different story. So if you, find too shiny and those kind of things, well, be careful. Just check the quality of the clay. Another common things are which are used is glass utensil or a plastic one. Glass is silica. It's one of the natural substance. And you will see most of the glass bottles are smooth. So water is harmonized. Plastic is a chemical. And most of the design is not smooth. There are different patterns and all those things. When you store the water in such bottle, it kind of loses the harmonized element and became a little chaotic, which is not good for us. So naturally pure water, artificially pure water, what is the difference? Animal can sense it, which one is which. And given a choice, they will go for naturally pure water than artificially pure water. But we have lost. How come animals still have that? Well, because of our lifestyle, because of our reliability on the science and everything, the gadgets are doing for us. We are not using our senses. We are becoming lazy and dependent on the technology now. That's the fact. Copper is another thing. Copper has antibacterial properties. Copper, you will see in Ayurveda mentioned all over the place. It's a vessel, which really helps in balancing the 3 doshas in your body, whether it is Vata, Kapha, or Pitta, it balances it. So, because it is charging the water positively, storing in copper vessel works as a purification process. But one should keep it in mind. We'll see the benefits, but still, just based on the benefits, please do not drink the whole year and the entire day, every day, water from a copper vessel. Why? Because there is something called water may have because of the storage and you're drinking always from copper is copper toxicity. So drink water, early morning, empty stomach, glass of water, excellent. You may carry a copper, water bottle with you to work, okay, but it's not like whole day coming back again, you're drinking from copper. So then it may become too much copper. So you keep changing either half day, regular versus copper. Because yes, you do have a lot of benefits, whether it is on your brain and on your heart related things, your prevent anemia or anemia, like anemic condition, like sometime, people may have any infection related because antibacterial property, digestion, aging, a lot of benefits you get. But remember, don't keep drinking whole day. When you buy the water bottle from outside, you are traveling, we think, okay, buy the, you don't know the reliability of water from the tap, or if you are traveling, you are not sure the source. Yes, you do buy a water bottle, but still, remember, they are not all the same. The pH varies. You want as close as possible to 7. If you drink something which is 4, 4.5, or which is acidic, or you go to the alkaline 9, 9.5, which is highly alkaline, both are no good. If you can find out which brand is what, stick to the brand. But at home, of course, you know which water you are drinking. At home, sometimes we have RO system or some other, system that we may have. I highly recommend get the water tested for the pH. And if it is not around 7, call the, customer service or whatever, and see what you can do. Because I know in RO, you can add additional module, which can take it to nearly pH 7. Otherwise, it may be acidic, which is not good because our body has to spend so much energy to make it happen. Some key points, remember again that drink water, but not while standing. Sit and then drink. It's good for your joint pain. Sometimes, nowadays you are eating while standing, you are drinking while standing. All those things are not what we used to do. Don't drink water an hour before or after or during the meal. Give time for the body to digest. In your stomach, the first primary function when you eat something is to digest. If you drink water, you are diluting those acids, those enzymes, which is making your digestion process weaker. And don't keep sipping the water whole day. When you want, okay, drink at least a glass at a time, and otherwise body get confused. You're drinking sip by sip. And the worst thing is nowadays, sometimes you see people just drinking out of, they will just fill up ice and they are drinking that water as it melts because it's very cold. You like it, but it is too cold for the body. Body now has to spend a lot of energy in making it good for your body temperature. So the energy which could have been used for your healing is now just used for your basic day-to-day activity or maintaining your health. One additional thing I would like to share here is that this is one easy thing and that you can do is putting the labels. And labels means you can take any piece of paper, you can write or you can draw the label and then put it on the back side of the, like it is, you can put a tape so that it's see-through. You are seeing through the bottle. It could be related to your health, spiritual gain, wisdom, gratitude, whatever, like blissfulness. It's not like, okay, you want to be a materialistic thing and all that. Anything that you are working on. You can, in a way, charge your water. You can use the sacred symbols. You can use just the word, simple words. I love myself. If you want, you're working on increasing your healing, your self-love, just write, I love myself. Put a sticker or put a, write on a piece of paper with a transparent tape. Just put it so that when you're drinking, every time you are looking at it. Simple way that you can add energy, add life to the water. We all know that how much, those basic energies in our first three chakras, when it gets stuck, we all need to work on. And these are the simple things that so easily we can work on. So this way, it is so simple. Use whatever you want to, right? Whether it is peace, health, prosperity, wisdom, any particular, you don't want the word, just a simple, you know what it means to you. Sure, you can use it. So just putting a label, which is reflected through it. There are different books. If you want, you can go through it, and it can guide you in a different ways. Of course, there are a lot of literature depending on what your intention is. So remember, Master, water is not just any liquid. It has program of life in it. So don't just drink it as if it's just you are thirsty and you have to quench your thirst, so you need water to it. Water is sacred. Water is its whole life. 2/3 of our body is water. Water has memory. So don't drink directly from tap water. Store it overnight. Take a big utensil, fill the water so that next day you are drinking from it. You can have two, so that one you are using it, the other one you use for at least 4, 5 hours, 6 hours, whatever you can give for water to come down to the normal energy of your house rather than directly from the tap. So remember, we are not talking about filter system and all those things that don't drink from the tap. That's a separate issue. We are saying do not use directly, which is coming from outside. Let it sit, let it normalize. So that's the reason we say don't drink directly. Bless the water as you're drinking like any other food. But water, because of the content in our body's percentage is so high, bless it. And bless means what? Just think with positive energy. Whatever way, whatever sentence you may want to use to bless the water. So it's a question of 5 seconds, 10 seconds. We are not saying just sit in a prayer. No, just bless it. Which utensils you are using is very important. So be careful, avoid plastic as much as possible. And the pH is very critical. Don't drink 4.5 or 9 range water, because then your body is spending too much energy on it. So masters, thank you. And if you have any question, we'll take it.